Okay, good. So I've started recording. Okay, so I'm really excited today to have Sean Faulkner here with me to have this amazing conversation that we're going to talk about mental toughness and mental health, but from a different perspective. Sean is an incredible person, and I've been really fortunate to have been able to connect with Sean for so many years as a family friend. He's trained myself and all of my family. And what I love about Sean is, although he's been, a personal trainer for a long time, it's evolved so much, but he's brought so much kind of freedom to our physical bodies, but also with our mental health. And he really supports the needs of the people that he serves. So the conversation today we're just going to have is really to just introduce you to Sean and the amazing person that he is, but also what he does as well, because it's going to enhance lots of people's lives in understanding his philosophy around the mentality of what Sean does. So Sean is a conditioning coach, but it's not just for the physical body. He really integrates the functionality of how it supports the whole body from a holistic point of view as well, for mental wellness, for health, just not just in sport, but also in life. So welcome, Sean. I'm really excited that we get to have this conversation, because we always have the most amazing conversations.
Really?
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my introduction there.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Good. So Sean, I'm really excited about this. So I just want you to introduce yourself really, and just give everybody kind of a little bit of insight to who you are and really what inspired you to be where you are today.
Yeah, well, first of all, hello everybody, or whoever's going to watch in the future. Yeah, my name's Sean Faulkner. Crikey, where can I start? It's been a massive kind of journey that's just snowballed from when I started off as a trainer, like a coach. God, that was about 27, 28 years ago. My main kind of area that I worked on, and for a long time, and obviously I still do, but was more sort of like football skills. I became involved in football. I played football, not a great standard, but I kind of played football since I was probably 5 or 6, kicking around in the playground with my friends at junior school, and then obviously into senior school. And it just kind of like has always been something that I'd loved, and most sports really. And then I just became involved in a kind of a soccer school who a friend of mine introduced me to, and I just used to go down there and watch. And I just used to kind of just a little bit join in with the kids when they were warming up and stuff like that. And anyway, my friends sort of said, look, have you ever thought about working with children? I've watched you and you seem to be quite natural. And I said, no, it's not something that I had as an agenda, or I kind of, sort of wanted to put into practice. And that was it really. And then I just bit by bit sort of went on some qualifications, and got involved with some other coaches who gave me little bits of work and bits and bobs to do. And I just sort of built it from there really. That, like I say, that was probably 27, 28 years ago. And obviously I went through the original FA coaching certificate, I think it was called. Everything that surrounded it, the first aid, etc. And then I just built this little following up. I was working at a place called Edgebarrow Sports Centre, which is in Crowthorne in Berkshire in the UK. And it was quite amazing really, because I thought, okay, I'm going to try and now put a little soccer camp together. I thought if I could get about 15 or 16 players, I'll have a couple of days off over Christmas from my other job, and I've got about 60 children.
Amazing.
So I had to bring in some of my friends who were coaches, and then I started getting approached by parents, sort of from PTAs at schools, who kind of brought their children along to my sessions, and they were asking me, would you be interested in coming in and doing like an after-school club? And so it kind of snowballed, Claire, really. And
Yeah. Well, I remember, because that's where we first got introduced, when Sebastian was at your soccer school. And the reason why I loved it so much was because it was different. It was unique. There was a different flavour to it. And it was the first time we got introduced to the kind of idea of Brazilian football, and that kind of expertise and technique, I guess. And it was an amazing experience, and we actually built some amazing friendship. It wasn't just with you where that started so many years. How old is Sebastian now? He's 18.
yeah,
So, oh yeah, over 10 years ago. But also some other friendships, you know, that we built from those kids, and we are still very good friends with them today. But I love the philosophy that where you started in that soccer school.
yeah.
And and I know how much this has evolved since then.
Yeah, no, it was just, I obviously going a little bit further down the line, probably when I started, got to know yourself, Claire, and your family. Become involved in a franchise which was very big at the time, which was, excuse me, promoting Brazilian soccer skills and stuff like that, and it was very successful. I kind of suppose it put myself on the map and my team of coaches, and that type of training, which you know, at the time there was very, if any, many soccer schools in the area. Like talking about the kind of Reading, Ascot, Berkshire area. I think we were possibly the only one. Even like professional football clubs hadn't got that far into kind of having you know, branching off into soccer schools and these type of sort of development programs, if you want to call it, stuff like that. And yeah, we were just inundated. I think it was just, I mean, I had no idea at the time what was going to happen, and as I said, it evolved into like a following, and I think that's when I started realising myself, you know, I'd come from a background of how can I put it, if I played for a team when I was a youngster, or even as an adult before I started doing this, I started getting into coaching when I was, I think, about 33, 34, so quite a late developer. I'd had no structured training or coaching, so I didn't really know what it took and what I had to, kind of how I had to be or anything. I think I just kind of not fell into it, but I kind of just went and done what I felt was necessary. I obviously got guidance when I'd done the first FA training course, you know, so naturally you're given a kind of curriculum and to be manner wise and everything, but you know, then we just had this this big organisation that was kind of running 700 or 800, 900 children a week for our soccer school, and you know, obviously it was a massive learning curve, but I think the biggest thing, like you said, out of it came the friendships that we made, and obviously, you know, even now to this day, I'm talking, I've probably been out of that now for 17, 18 years. I still get people sort of coming up, and, you know, I'm not talking about giants who are, like, I last saw them, they're now 6'5", and, you know, the recognition, and it's really humbling, because none of us set out, we just set out trying to, you know, very, very naive at the time, very, very inexperienced. I'm still obviously learning now, you know, and but
well, I honestly believe, though, Sean, we never stop learning. We know that, right? And no matter how much you think you know, there's still more to learn. I know that you have that philosophy, because you're always sharing that with me as well. But what I really love as well is just your uniqueness. Like you said, you had the structure of that formal training, but you have such an incredible way of connecting with the people that you work with. And you know, I particularly noticed that with Sebastian when you worked with him, really small. So there were times that, you know, when he just maybe didn't want to actually do something, and you could really tell, because he was really young, wasn't he, at the time? But instead of just thinking, oh, I can't work with this kid, you actually tuned into him and recognized what he needed at that time. And sometimes it was just a bit of reassurance, a bit of confidence building. And I think for me, if I was to look at your journey, around how it's developed from my perspective, I've seen where that growth has come because you really connected with them from an emotional kind of state, but also then introduced that physical technique and ability in your own personal way, in a unique way that wasn't formalized with all of these other kind of techniques.
I think it's when I look back now, Claire, obviously just thinking about it this morning, obviously, because I knew I was going to speak to you, but kind of, you never stop learning. And I think you're kind of, when you come out of certain structures and certain coaching syllabuses or whatever you want to call it, you're kind of maybe put into a mold, and it's kind of like, you've got to be this way, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, which I don't disagree with, but I think personally, the kind of journey I've taken, where I've had it's not luck, but I've met certain people, well, particularly, one person who kind of took me away from just focusing on football skills to going into a bit deeper about cultures and what individuals need. Who's Roger, who's my mentor. But I just think it's not just about working from a handbook and expecting your players, your clients, whoever it is you're working with, to be able to do this type of thing and this ability, and then learning about how our bodies work and how our minds work, and not expecting the same performance every day from somebody, and what affects performance and that. Because when I started, I had no idea about these things that were going to get put in front of me. It's just like in life, I'm talking about being a trainer, a coach. I think first 4 or 5 years, and I say this to all the guys I used to work with, and again, not in a negative way, but I think I always say to everyone, the first 5 or 6 years, I was just like a coach. I was just like, I would put a training session together, and I was more, I suppose you're still, I was more sort of like, does it look like? Was it look like from the outside? Oh, got to get, and rather than what the content gave the players or the children, I think that's a natural thing that might probably happens. There's a lot of good young trainers coming through now, and good stuff going on. But I think we all go for that stage. I think I did, where I feel now I'm a teacher.
Yes.
And I say to people, if somebody has said to me, when I left school or when I first went into, kind of working for a living in different industries and stuff like that, I would be a teacher, I'd have laughed in their face. I'd say, I've got no chance. How can I teach? And I think it's just finding your own personality. But the training and the challenges you get, I think, brings out your personality in it. And we've all got different personalities. I think that's good, because if you all have the same personality and the same input to training, that's what makes it such a challenge and such I'd say, a beautiful world to be in. Because, as you know, I've spoken to you before, I can get as much satisfaction seeing, say, 7 or 6-year-old to 26-year-old lad I trained becoming a professional footballer. I'm not in it for just one pigeonhole. My early sort of steps were football, and it still is a massive part of what I do, but I think I've become more guided towards spiritually as well. Sort of big and long words to use, but that's
not at all. I think that's what I really love about it as well, because what I notice is you help build the foundations behind the reasons why we train our bodies physically, and the outcome of that is, if you have foundations, and that's what I've learned from some of the new stuff that you've been sharing with me, which we'll talk about a bit later. And once you know those and you understand it, it actually impacts your body in a completely different way, and you actually enhance your performance physically. It enhances your mental health, as well. From, like you said, from little kids up to the professional adults that you work with. So just moving on to that, Sean, I'd really love you to share with me, what are the type of people that you typically would work with at the moment in general?
In a typical week, or day?
Oh,
Or
just in general, yeah. So who are the type of people that you tend to work with?
okay, I could probably go through this week.
Yeah.
Already this morning, I've had a lady in who's just tried. This is our gym.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
A mess at the moment. But so this morning, I've had a lady in who just comes in for like general fitness.
Yeah.
And she's kind of been with me for, I think, probably about 18 months, I think now, Michelle.
Yeah.
She's not overly worried about facts and figures. You know,
Yeah.
she just wants to come in, she trains. You know, I've obviously said to her, look, Michelle, you know, I want to sort of try and give you some feedback. I want you to know what your weight's like and what this. And she's just one of those people who I'm happy just coming to train. You know,
okay.
you know, we obviously pride ourselves on results, but she doesn't want that. I'm not going to keep forcing at her and saying, Michelle, you've got to do this, you've got to have that, you've got to do this. You know, excuse me, it's there. That's what we want to get, as well as many other things from the training.
Sometimes it's about working with people that just want accountability. They know that they're going to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning. They just need someone there to just keep pushing them to just physically train. And those are the people that, so you have those kind of clients. And what about your professional sports clients? Because I know that you have a variety of sports people.
I mean, I sort of never ever thought I'd work with kind of the guys I looked up to were professional footballers, you know, and I don't know really. I suppose I can't really use the word lucky because I've worked hard at what I do as well, and I'm probably maybe a bit joking today and saying it's this, it's that, but you know, the deep down thing I've always wanted to do was to be recognised for improving footballers, you know, and I would say it's not been an easy journey. You know, I've found myself working at professional football clubs. I've worked at my club that I idolise, you know, Chelsea and stuff like that, in different capacities. So I've had experiences being a football scout and a conditioning coach and a running development centre. So I've got quite a wide experience. I was lucky enough myself to have traveled to a lot of countries to learn football as well. But going back into, I've forgotten the question now.
No, that's okay. Well, honestly, no, I was just saying, you know, the people that you work with, like the sports professionals, what makes it different from working with you as in individual training than it would just a standard, you know, what they tend to get with a personal trainer? Because there is a massive difference. It's huge. I know it is because I've seen it when you've worked with my children.
I think it's maybe the connection, Claire, and what your goals are, but more so what, say that I use the word player, what the player's goals are and what the player wants, you know, trying to maybe find that little bit extra out of the player, their performance. You know, obviously most of the guys, well, all of the guys who come to me, you know, are coming in because they're not getting a certain type of particular training at their club, which again, disrespectful to the football club. It's just, you know, I offer something that they're not getting there, otherwise they wouldn't be coming. And then obviously therefore after that you start making a connection with the player. You know, and again, I don't force anything. Lucky enough, I've had some promotion from people who've worked with me and said, look, maybe go, Sean, you know, he does this, he does that, you know, and in they come. And you know, then, you know, like I say, I had Michelle, and then I had Dan come in, Dan Roberts, who's a young player, 22, who's trying to now push towards a professional football career. So his goals now, you know, we're monitoring things. Dan wants, you know, he wants to get bigger and bulk up. And, you know, obviously people who know me know that I don't advocate lifting heavy weights and stuff like that. Our training is a little bit more, I don't know, flexible and functional to maybe, again, is the standard way of getting bigger. And I'm not saying that again in a disrespectful way. It's just this is what I'm saying. There's different elements that are open to people.
Yeah.
I've had dancers in. Sorry, Claire.
Yeah, no. Actually, no. I was going to say to you, I know that you've had dancers in. So, if, say, for example, a footballer was coming to you, and it's something that you train differently. Earlier on, you mentioned it's more functional. Now, I also know that the way you train, it really does balance the left and right brain, or the left and right foot. It coordinates the whole body. It isn't just a one direction way of training. Can you just share with me a bit more about that? Because I know that you love to talk about this, because we have this conversation even in our training sessions, because it fascinates me as well. So can you share about the impact that has on your players?
Yeah, the biggest change as a trainer for me was when I met Roger. Roger Spry, who I do say, luckily enough, I met him on a training course when I was part of the franchise, which I mentioned earlier, up in Leeds. And I'd never heard of Roger before. And he was coming in to do, like, I think it was a 2-day kind of coach education with all of the franchise coaches.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, other than looking at his CV on the introduction, I didn't have any idea of what was going to come my way. But as soon as he started training me, because you've got to remember, I was probably 4 or 5 years into my coaching career then. So naturally, I had nothing to compare things to, Claire, really. I'd had kind of one way of coaching.
Yeah.
I was experiencing, this is how to do it. And obviously, like all of us in any walk of life, when you haven't got the life experience or in professional life working experiences, you kind of just go down one avenue. But if you've got a little bit of an open mind, you're open to other ideas where, we all know some people haven't, and that's fine. People kind of will say to a certain road, that's absolutely fine, but my kind of take was, whoa, this is different. I like this. And obviously I got chatting to Roger and, arranged to go and do some one-to-one coaching, coach education for myself. And he introduced me to a way of training that had been his, well, it still is, obviously.
Yeah.
His kind of
philosophy.
Sorry, and it was based around movement. Yeah. Simple as that, based around movement, being more flexible. And obviously I'm talking about being flexible in the nervous system, which again, I've learned so much about how your brain is your central nervous system. Everything comes from here into the muscles. It's not the other way around, where, kind of you hear that saying, muscle memory and stuff like that. Yeah. Roger's taught me a complete different way. Yeah. And, the movements, again, I was thinking earlier, it's something that I never really looked at too much as a younger coach, where we would put on exercises and drills, if you want to call them, at our soccer school, and we were doing all these different sort of stepping, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's just taking that little step back as a trainer or an educator and saying, hold on a minute, does what I'm showing them there actually fit the sport I'm supposedly coaching them? And probably going a little bit deeper now, but and I think that's how it changed. And the big thing was introducing me to the shirt there, the Ginga.
Yeah, the Ginga. And this is
simple that. And obviously you can imagine coming into an English culture and trying to all of a sudden coach a group of 18, 19-year-old boys. Hold on, boys, we've got to start dancing now. You can imagine they're like.
Yeah. So can you just tell me a little bit, because there's some people that don't have any idea about the Ginga, and just learning the basics of the foundations of that, what it is and why it's so beneficial for any type of person, whether it's general fitness or professional sports players. It would be amazing for you to kind of share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think probably, like I say, I'd actually been to Brazil by the time I'd met Roger. So I had some knowledge of Brazilian philosophies and culture. And obviously, Claire, we all know every country's got their own culture, and it's, you know, it's not where I was coming back into my, you know, sort of my working area and saying to everybody, look, we've got to do this now. This is, you know, it's something that you like to sort of say to people, have you ever thought about maybe doing this not instead of that, but what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Try this, you know. And Ginga is basically, it originates from capoeira. Capoeira is basically, again, like a contact or a non-contact martial art stroke dance. Sport. Fun that you see all the time in Brazil. And I remember when I went to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, I think it was in the year 2001, and we were seeing this all around us, and I was, wow, you know, this is unbelievable. And then I obviously met Roger, and he said to me, look, you know, the first thing I want to teach you, and I've got to teach you, is these movement exercises that all the Brazilians do, you know, and I just was like blown away by it. And obviously the Ginga just involves, Ginga means to sway. So Ginga means, it's a Portuguese, in Portuguese it means to sway your body, to dance. And obviously in Brazilian football it means to play with the Ginga is to be a little bit, I suppose, arrogant and cocky, and a little bit, well, you know, throw some shapes. Excuse me, where, you know, people going back to, let's say, the Pelés and Ronaldinho's, this was the type of culture they were brought up with. And it was amazing, you know, it's amazing to learn. Roger had been working in Brazil hands-on with footballers, and he'd worked with Mario Zagallo, who's the most successful manager of the Brazilian national team ever, and then having that passed on to me. So you can imagine, and it's obviously, every time I go and see Roger now, obviously, you know, it's still 18 years now, and, you know, he'll say to me, we haven't scratched the surface. And what things he taught me from, I remember day one, I can remember exactly the first ever training session, like it was yesterday, going into his training area in Birmingham and doing the Ginga.
Well, oh, I mean, I know, because you've been training me with the Ginga, and I absolutely love it. And the reason I love it as well is because I never forget the first time I actually was able to fall in love with football. So being surrounded by boys that love football, one day I just thought, well, how am I going to join them, because I feel a bit left out here. And what it was that I saw was, it was Barcelona, but I can't remember who they were playing against. I saw this incredible dance, this flow, this movement, and that to me, I saw this flow in the way they, like a perfectly formed piece of choreography it was, as the ball moved from one player to the next. That was the moment that I kind of thought, oh, it's not just a game with men running around in shorts just kicking a ball around. And then when you taught me the Ginga, everything just synced in, because I felt like I was like being one of those players, because I really saw it. I felt it in my physical body, and the movement, the flow, and even actually training to music. It's so fun. And I can tell you, even if you slow the movement down, it burns like nothing I've ever felt, with no equipment, just yourself, a piece of music, and actually just these training techniques that you've kind of evolved, actually. So it's not just doing the Ginga, is it? It's actually, you've evolved it with using bands and weights and everything.
It's a constant evolution. That again, it sort of go in the end, you know, as I was saying, I think this morning, and I think a lot, you know, like I'll speak to Roger and I'll say, you know what, everything just continually keeps making more and more and more and more and more and more sense, you know, because as I said, you know, working and doing the Ginga, we were doing it years back with the children, the players at the soccer school mainly, I wasn't working so many one-to-ones then. I was totally more like football skills, football technique. We were doing Ginga, and we didn't progress it as much as I have now, Claire.
Yeah.
Where now we've just taken it steps, but that's down to other areas where you train in, say, using resistance bands, the type of training as you know I do.
Yeah.
Where you then evolve, and then you kind of, that works. That's brilliant. I think it's, as I said, probably right at the beginning of this conversation is, I think having an open mind to training. As you can imagine, it's always been a bit more difficult because a lot of people are set in their ways. Especially in and around football, there's a lot of, I don't know what people call old school. I'm not in this to try and compete with people. I just try and offer. But obviously, you can imagine, I'm probably a little bit, I don't know about the word unique. I don't, because I think that's the trouble. People then will think it's a gimmick. That I've always been a little bit aware of. What he does is a bit of a gimmick because everyone does it like this. But it's like, no, I've just maybe gone out of my comfort zone a little bit and worked with somebody a little bit, left field, whatever it is they call it, and learnt from somebody who, in my eyes, you don't work with Luis Figo and Rui Costa and Ronaldo as a youngster, and all these Deco and all these different players, Ricardo Carvalho. Yeah. Be a good football coach and be recognised worldwide for what you do. If you're not any good at what your profession, and just what you taught me to, again.
And I think that's really important to point that out, Sean, because it is about your uniqueness and how you connect into that individual person to meet their particular training needs. And I think the same with that, with the mental health. The people I've worked with, also nutrition. There is not a one way. Everybody's made up so differently. Physically, we function very differently. We move very differently. Yeah. You see that when people are doing the Ginga, they have their own Ginga, don't they? Not one person is the same movement, but that's okay because it suits their individual needs. And I think that's where you are very, you come across really strong in connecting to the individual client to meet their needs, which is why people like you, because they feel connected to you. They want something that's different. I know for me, definitely it's something I want something different. I get bored going to the gym, going to those same machines, doing those same routines. And some people really love it. They absolutely love it. And that's absolutely fine for them. But I do know that there is a place for what you deliver in people's lives, because the thing that I spoke about earlier was looking at the way your body physically, training your body physically in the way that you train, because you actually connect the left and right brain really powerfully, and you help it to grow, which then actually supports, like you said, the nervous system and your life in general. And I'd really love you to share with me, if it's okay with you, sort of your journey of how your physical fitness has actually helped support you in your mental health, because I know that you've been on a journey. Just to say, share with people of how it's impacted your life, and also the other people, that it's impacting other people's lives.
I mean, my own journey, as you know, Claire, I don't make any secret of it. I've had probably a couple of really bad periods in my life of depression, anxiety, and again, I'm really strong on these type of things. I think because I know what it's like to not feel good about yourself, to be affected by other people's opinions of yourself, and to sit back and think, God, I'm useless, and we're not all seeking adulation and constant recognition and stuff, but when you get into those sort of stages of your life and you sit back and you're on your backside a bit, you know. And
Yeah.
I've always sort of struggled a lot, with just some anxiety and depression. And I, you know, I'm openly speak about it, and I will say to people, look, I've been there, and I think this has helped me as a trainer, because I can relate to people where maybe a younger trainer hasn't quite got that life experience yet. So it's not a bad thing that they have, you know, they just haven't had the lifespan that I've had. Touch wood, I'm still here, but I've had a couple of near misses, you know, close shaves. I had a really severe blood clot 5 or 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I had a cancer scare as well. So I think that, you know, we're all on a journey, aren't we, Claire? You know, it opens up your mind again to different aspects. What do I want? And I think with what I do, it's not about me. You know, it's about when people come in the door, what experience they get in coming into the gym. Like I say, whether it's a 5-year-old or a 25-year-old or a lady comes in that's got this, wants that, you know, whatever we do, I try and I think I've tried to adapt to their needs. And I think because I've had, you know, like an illness, so I won't go straight in their face, but you can't help it as a one, especially one-to-one or even with groups. You know, when I first started out, it was like, oh, don't get close to your clients and don't, but you've got to have that relationship with them, Claire, because otherwise you can't get in there.
Yeah.
You know, and we're here to help people. I'm here to change people's lives. And that's where as footballers, but also now every day, every client I work with is the same. I don't want people ever to think, oh, he just used to put all these footballers on a pedestal. My little sons or my daughter or whoever goes, everybody, I'll get as much pleasure out of training, like I say, Michelle, as I do Dan this morning.
Yes,
I really take on their challenges. And my own thing is, I mean, I literally have scratched my way back to fitness, and you know, I've had operations and stuff. That's more wear and tear, but so I like to think now I've got that kind of inner kind of ability to say to someone, oh, hey, hold on a minute, I've been there. I'm not going to read you about stress out of a manual. I've had the t-shirt on.
And your training, because obviously you train others, but you take it on board yourself. You do that training for yourself, and that's also helped you get through the situations that you have experienced with the anxiety, with the mental stress. And that's one thing that I know that you share with me, that if you didn't physically do that as well, and it is one of the pillars of health. You know, exercise, no matter what type of exercise it is a pillar of health, and it really does affect us mentally. So it can mentally toughen every part of you, both physically but also mentally. It's so important.
Right. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Sometimes you think, what comes first, mental or physical? You know, do I have to get you know, because I get people coming here, they're like, oh, blimey, now I've got to get fit first to come in here, and I'm like, no, I've been putting it off coming to
it's so common.
To get fit to come and train with you, and I'm like, no, you need to get fit, you know. And then, I mean, the more you get to know people, Claire, like I say, we've known each other for years, like family. I think, it's just becoming the coach that you think you've got to have your own philosophy and your own own book and everything. But it's being adaptable. I think that's the biggest thing, adapting, you know. Like some of the most important things, it's not just they call it man management, it's person management. You know, how can I, you know, when I was working with big groups of professional players, lucky enough I had that experience from Roger to go in and know to work individually and collectively and then not every player is going to feel the same coming to training every day, you know, and that sometimes may be a thing that some people maybe don't assess or don't look at, and they expect the same performance every single day. They never take on board that one guy might have not slept because his wife's had a newborn baby, but you know, and thing is, people aren't robots.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's important to train that flexibility, isn't it? Because actually training that flexibility also helps to train your brain. So
Yeah.
your whole philosophy is not just about conditioning the body, but it's also conditioning the mind at the same time. Because I do know from the training that we've done, the different types of training your influences, it does definitely strengthen the brain, because you're learning by repetition, you're learning to be flexible in the changing, which means that you can problem solve better. So say, for example, if it is a football player on the pitch and they go one way, they can really quickly, flexibly snap into the other way very quickly. And I've seen it.
I'll go back. Obviously, that'll all stem from the Ginga.
Yeah.
Ginga probably haven't spoken about it enough, but yeah, again, we use the Ginga with the footballers to basically make, to be fair, make them move like dancers. And then this is where it starts getting to the point where we probably all know that, especially white males, don't really like dancing. You can imagine me going into Aldershot Town with 20 lads in front of me, and I'm starting to go, right, boys, here we go. And they're like, where's this guy come from? And I think again, it's not the norm, is it? It's not normally, they're like, well, stand in the corner. And I've had it here in the gym. People, even probably my family, they don't really know too much about the Ginga. It's something everyone associates me with, and they all call it Ginga or Ginger, and it's like I can't train anyone without doing the Ginga.
Yeah.
And I think I have to stand by my beliefs, because you always maybe get that bit like, should we not bother with the Ginga because people ain't getting it? And I'm like, no. That's why I want to do it.
And I think if
I'm going to go back to
and when they really understand the foundation behind the reasons why it's so powerful, I think that's when they start to connect, because they suddenly realize that it's not just about that physical movement. They really are changing their brains. They're physically changing their brains. Because of having to be flexible and adaptable, their bodies are moving in a completely different way, and that helps to support them in everyday movement. People are sitting so much more, and I've noticed this myself, because obviously, especially been having to work with clients over Zoom recently. I think for 4 or 5 hours a day is actually really uncomfortable, and I've noticed that using the Ginga movements creates that flexibility of movement again to kind of get the body moving. It's crazy.
Excuse me, it's unbelievable, Claire, because I obviously study a lot, and obviously since lockdown in March to say this very day to day, especially hell of a lot of time to step back, like yourself, like most people, and obviously my thing is delving back into, say, education. I'm trying to learn, and I've realised the more I learn, the more I realise I don't know. And I've learned some amazing things, and I've read books on breathing and diet. I mean, obviously I've always worked on a lot of these things through my training, but it's given me that time to step back. When you're full on, you're sort of getting through your sessions each day, and there's no better way of learning than being hands-on. I've done a lot of education, obviously, and traveling, but I've always said to my I'm teaching a team of coaches now to move into our new gym, that we're going to need a bigger coaching team. And I've said to the guys, look, we can sit in front of a computer and do all this analysis day in, day out. So, but there's no better way than actually getting hands-on the training, which I'm qualified at a level, to about these things. But movement, Claire, is the word I was going to say. That's been the biggest sort of thing that I've noticed more and more people talking about now. Trainers in America that I follow, we're on the phone 3-4 times a week. So that's concrete, that we're always, that's how we work. But I'm listening to other guys now, and I'm like, wow, this is brilliant. You know, following some Brazilian guys now,
Yeah.
and excuse me, how he moved. And I think sometimes people try and look away from our natural movement or animal movement, you know, insects, whatever it is, but nature,
Yeah.
and try and rebuild things in a way that's unnatural. That's only my own. So that's only my own opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's about functional movement, isn't
That's
it?
it,
It's
yeah.
about functionally using your body in the way it's meant to be used.
Yeah.
So who because we're coming to the end of our amazing conversation, Sean. So who would you say that your biggest influences are, and is there anything that you would kind of like to share about, really about building mental toughness, really, as well as, you know, building your physical health, and how it supports you, not just in your training, but also in your life skills as well? Just a few little things that you've learned along the way that you want to kind of conclude from our conversation.
Yeah, no, influences, do you mean just in my whole life? Or
Yeah, just some key people that you feel really inspired by. Obviously, we've spoken about Roger Spryers, who is, I've been fortunate to have a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a massive,
Yeah.
massive person,
Yeah.
and not more so as a friend than
Yeah.
you know, the training will initially brought us together, but as a friend, because we still talk
Yeah.
like that. But influences really. I mean, obviously my parents when I was young, obviously
Yeah.
my family, they all think I'm mad because what I do. but no, I just kept going. But I think the influences are the people that come in and train with me.
Yeah. I love that. You feel inspired by your clients. I have the same thing.
They make me want to be better at what I do, because I'm quite what's the word? I don't know what the word is. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm probably one in people. If someone says I can't do something, I have to do it.
Yeah, determined.
I'm getting older, and I'm still like picking up barrels of water and trying to keep with these young lads like me and Dan. Dan Lewis comes in, and he's, you know, he wants to get bigger, and I've said, right, I've got this beer keg where it is, and we're going to fill it with water, and then, you know, I kind of like reverse psychology sometimes with people, but yeah, people like who get the best out of me to get the best out of them, if that makes sense. But influence, I mean, oh God, a lot of my friends, and I think everyone's an influence.
Yeah, and I know, in particular, I know that your family are really important to you, and as you said, our clients, the clients that we have, they really do inspire us. They make, you know, they make you better as a coach. They make me better as a therapist and coach, and I love working with those people, because we're there to help them, but we're actually guiding them on their journey, because they're the ones doing the work, and we're kind of supporting them along the way, which is really important for them as well. So what's next, Sean? What's coming up next for you? Because I know you've got some amazing plans. So just tell us a little bit about that, and how people can get in touch with you.
I've got the opportunity now to move into a bigger training area, which is, I mean, you can't see this area, but I've been in this particular studio for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
I've got an opportunity to go into a bigger area, which is about 4, maybe 5 times as big as this.
Yeah.
And obviously that gives me more scope to do more, you know. I think the biggest thing I've kind of learned as well, I mean, it's just a personal thing. I mean, yeah, we all want to have a business, and we all want to be financially kind of stable and stuff like that. Is you know, and again, I've been reading a lot about these type of things recently, of not being, well, I hope I'm not, of just a person who just comes and does this job and takes the money and gut, because I really love my job.
Yes.
It's not
work. It's not work.
No, it is at times. It's long, you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
And it don't get any tougher the older I get. But Yeah, I mean, the new area has given me an opportunity to bring in now team coaches. I want to sort of maybe have a legacy, you know, of experience. Now I'm ready to say pass it down. I've had assistant coaches before in the soft school, but as a more like general the conditioning and the mental work that we do.
Yeah.
Now,
So as I understand it, you're bringing your philosophy and your training not just for you to have, but you're actually sharing a pretty much a legacy of what it is that you've learned, and you're inspiring other young trainers to learn from that legacy.
I've always been open to help people, but these guys are going to be working alongside me, you know, assistant coaches and trainers, and it is a, you know, as I said, it is when you're doing it just on your own and you are getting quite a lot of demand. It's tough for me, you know, and I want to give my best, and if you're tired, so I'm my own worst sort of enemy or critic. I'm like, oh, you know, but anyway, probably going a little bit off track there. But I'm going into the new area, and also it gives me the chance to bring in some other areas which I really enjoy, which I've kind of grown to enjoy over the years, which is like MMA, mixed martial arts, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, boxing, which again, everything there has originated from the Ginga. Yes. Because I watched Conor McGregor and I watched his trainer, Portal, and I've looked at everything. And I always go back to Roger, that's Ginga. And he says, yeah, you know, it's all from the Ginga. And we're going to have also sessions where we have live music playing in the session where you know, my saxophone teacher will be playing. I know bongos, or we're going to have particular training nights where it's maybe rave night or house night or, excuse me, 70s night, where people can just come and express themselves and move, because that's what I want everyone to do, is keep moving. Yeah. Just keep moving, keep on moving your body, because it gets everything. Yeah. It gets everything, you know, it makes things feel better, and we don't realise actually how much it affects you know, your body and your mind, and it's just there's a lot of opportunity in the new gym for me to maybe help more people, really. Yeah, definitely. And I know that we're doing a little bit of collaboration, aren't we, with just a few little just a few little mini courses that you're going to be introducing into the clients that I work with to support them in their movement. Part of the thing that I really want to work with my clients with is the holistic type of bringing in the therapy, but with movement as well. And because I know the importance of being able to move your body for your mental health, or just in general anyway. I had two major, you know, two hip operations probably 8 years ago. If you'd have seen me then, I was struggling to walk. I think you probably saw me, you know, I was like over, and then to think I've, you know, say come back. You are now. I've obviously got over that, and God, you know, I can move around now, and I have a go at everything, and I've always great believer in it, as well as, you know, and I've learned this from day one, is I've always done what the players or the clients do. You know, I can't just sit there and tell them to do something out of a handbook and then be like punish them if they can't do it. You know, it's always done what my clients do. Sometimes to my challenge to a challenge. Sometimes it's had a negative effect because I haven't been able to walk for about 3 days. But no, it's just getting out there, having a go. Yeah. So don't be afraid. You said earlier, didn't you? Don't come in because you want to be fit first. Make sure you come in, give it a go. Yeah. Come and have a go, you know. And to be honest, you know, the amount of people that come in and you're hearing them and they're like, you know, I'm like, come on, what's up with that? Come on, just get it. You know, that's when I can't do that. I'm like, come on, look at me, I can do it. I don't care if I have to have a move around. And I think it's coming out of your comfort zone, coming out of your shell. Yeah. And once you see that in people, they like become different people. I think definitely. And also, there is an amazing connection, isn't there, with the groups. If they're coming to see you in person, there's an amazing connection with the groups when you are able to obviously do that
properly, they connect with each other and they support each other. I remember training with you years ago in group sessions, and you just don't feel alone. And the importance of that is actually knowing that you're going to be there with other people who are going to bring you along the way. So that connection is just as important as the training itself, and that's what's pivotal. Yeah.
You know, listen, people come and go, obviously, but they're always, everybody, you know, I'll say to them, look, the gym door's always open, you know, you've been a part of our training school, you know, you're doing whatever there's no sort of like pressure.
Yeah.
You know, people will go where they want to go and they feel comfortable, and there's lots of good trainers around this area. And I think, again, it's about time maybe everybody started sort of patting each other on the back rather than trying to compete and
supporting each other. Yeah,
I find that side, you know, and that's it's like, well, we're all doing what we believe in, and we're all doing a job trying to help people. So why you know, get on with your stuff, do your stuff, and people, I like look at other trainers and they're getting results. It's like, that's brilliant, you know. It's not no, they do it like that, it's rubbish. It's got to have, you've got to have the mindset has got to be to help people, and if a method helps them, then it's
brilliant,
you know. But I mean, anybody wants to come to our gym.
Yeah. So how do they get in contact with you then, Sean, to be able to, whether it's a group session or one-to-one?
Yeah, the whole basically the whole package will be, we're putting a program together now.
Yeah.
And that will obviously, there'll be different areas. We'll obviously have one-to-one sessions. Then we're going to have a little bit more sort of, how can I put it, categorized type of session, where, because somebody might just like doing the Ginga, and you know, then we've got guys who obviously want to do maybe more with the kettlebells and the clubs we use, and then we've got the resistance band. So we're putting a program together now, the best of everything, or a mixture of everything, and then we've got the MMA, and we've got different things. We do a lot of testing, so the guys who come in that want the testing, they're going to have their own testing area in the gym, so they can come in, say, on a Saturday morning, rather than we interrupt the weekly session. Okay, you're in for testing on Saturday morning, and it's great because you can actually give the facts rather than opinions of your work. Yeah,
so they can actually measure their own progress, because that's something that we do like. We do like to have that as human beings, is something to kind of measure our own progress. It keeps us accountable. It keeps us moving forward and motivated. So that's really.
Yeah, they all want to come, and obviously, like I said, a Michelle person, she's happy just to come in and come out, which is fine. We'll always offer it, and we want people to know that we are serious and we're professional with everything, the way what we do. And then we've also got stretching sessions. Yeah. We're going to have coffee mornings, you know. We go on rambles. We go up to the back of the wood, do rambles, fit rambles, and carry barrels up there, which I done, and couldn't walk for about that.
And I've seen those on your pictures recently. I wish I was actually, because I would be joining you, because I love doing outside activity. You know, when you train with me here in Spain, I'm always outside, aren't I? Doing, obviously it's on Zoom, but it's because I love being outside, and both of the benefits of that is just incredible. So
it's just getting out, and I think it's become not, for me now, it's more than being a football conditioning coach, which, to be fair, Claire, is my big thing. But that has led me to other things, and you know, I don't try and do hopefully too much, and I'm not good at things. But I think everything stems from the Ginga. Then the work we do with, say, the clubs, whatever, we bring in a feel of the movements that we want to put into those exercises, and it's a philosophy that, I suppose, I've built my own philosophy over the years from what I've had from Roger and my education. But I've always, the goal, the kind of, we call it circular learning. It all comes back to the Ginga, then with something added on, and you know. So I don't board anyone if you put this whole interview out
No,
there.
no, not at all. So to get in contact with you, is it just you can do that through Facebook or
Yeah, Facebook, my Facebook profile.
yeah. I'll put all the details in underneath the video so everyone can contact you. Yeah.
Put a new website together, obviously, for the new gym.
Yeah.
Instagram, you know, we have the hashtag Team Ginga, so I'm advertising.
And your hat, yeah.
Well, that's trademark because bald head in the cold. So,
yeah.
no, but yeah, I just we're a team.
Yeah.
You know, Team Ginga, and we just, you know, we call it serious fun. We're serious, but we have fun.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, thank you, Sean. I've really enjoyed this conversation as always, and I look forward to sharing it with the people that really need to know about you, because I'm always saying to you, and you know that I say this to you, Sean, you need to just get out there, because actually you're really quite extraordinary. You're unique. It's incredible. The type of training you deliver is amazing, and people need to know about it.
Thanks, Claire. I mean, I really appreciate the kind words and obviously your support over lots of years, and the family. And no, I just, hopefully I've given a description there of everything. Lots I haven't talked about.
No, there's too much to cover. And this won't be the last time we have a conversation. We'll be more specific about certain things, but this is a really good starting point.
Yeah, I mean, the tips I would give to anybody who, any age, but I suppose I've been looking at more like the over 40s, 50s recently, and I've been sort of promoting myself a little bit. I mean, I never took my shirt off ever on a Instagram or video, anything until this year, really. But I suppose I just thought, well, I've got myself in better shape again, and can I inspire somebody to do what I'm doing? But it's not just about a vanity thing, because it helps here, you know. And it's to say to people, look, by looking maybe a little bit better, you feel better about yourself. You get that bit more confidence. You know, you've got, it starts with you first. Until you can love yourself and feel good about yourself, everyone around you will benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. It has a ripple effect, doesn't it? Yeah.
Negative vibe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Then other guys just get, and I've been through that. I can't really deal with negativity from people. So no, that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. I'm just gonna